It's been 4 months. I think the last time I did a CryptoWatch episode was June or May, I think, of this year. Then we'll tackle a little bit ba't ako nawala for CryptoWatch. I mean, it's not like nawala yung channel. We've been pumping out videos. We've been doing our usual live streams like Pwede Magtanong, live from the shop. Although CryptoWatch is one of our regular shows dapat, pero yun nga, nawala siya for a significant amount of time, so we'll talk about it. But we do have 4 sponsor videos for this stream, so I'm gonna pump one out now. So stick around for that after the break. Sup, Von from YouTube. Just a short trivia about that. So, si Colorful yung isa sa bago naming sponsors. We actually will have a video using the majority of parts from Colorful coming up this Friday. Tapos, magpapadala rin sila ng GPU. Yung backstory nun, dapat 3060 Ti. Sorry, dapat 3070 ata. Tapos yung isang staff namin, matagal nang may Colorful GPU na 3070 Ti na na-optimize niya to be one of the best performing in the world based on 3D Mark. So sabi namin kay sponsor na, is it okay if we just use our own card? Kasi our staff really has a 3070 Ti and hindi sila pumayag. Di sila pumayag kasi magpapadala sila ng 3080 Ti. So, from a 3070 to a 3070 Ti to a 3080 Ti. Although matatagalan yung card, it's coming mid-September pa. So, matatagalan din yung video namin on how to optimize video cards. But that should be quite interesting when that comes out. Sup, Kaiser? I know, and good thing Kaiser brought it up. Let me highlight the comment. Sup, RCL. Yun, so I kind of mirror Kaiser's sentiments, and that's why there hasn't been a CryptoWatch for around 3 to 4 months. Number one being that there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. Just even with the YouTube channel, if you notice, we really picked up the pace of videos. There's actually may backlog pa talaga kami, like for different items that different brands have sent us. Medyo may backlog, and we kind of pride ourselves, or at least me personally, I don't like kapag may pinadala ka sa amin, maasahan mo yun na, we'll do something with it, we'll use it in a video or something like that. So I really feel obliged not to say nice things about the product, but to use it man lang, use it well in a video. So there are several items na naka-backlog. There are some other video ideas that we executed on. So there's been a lot of work the past 4 months behind the scenes. Kaya rin na medyo na push aside yung CryptoWatch. And also because the staff have stepped up with their state-of-the-art stream, which they do every other week. So that put off, that relieves some of the pressure on my end to do. We may set quota kasi kami, may minimum kami of live streams a month for our different sponsors. But with Sota, that allowed me to concentrate on other things. And then also, a primary reason why I didn't want to do CryptoWatch was that, as nabanggit sa comment ni Kaiser, nakakalungkot tingnan. The crypto prices. So winter has come. It's definitely a crypto winter. And if you're a crypto, although, I'm always a glass half full kind of guy. And if you've been in crypto for a long time, like myself, like some of the other people watching, it's the Bitcoin, which is a good bellwether, or, a good benchmark for all of the other prices, all of the other altcoins. It hit a high of around $66,000 per Bitcoin. So all-time high niya yun. Right now, as we speak, it's around 19,800. So that's more than 2/3 loss if you had bought it at the all-time high. But if you've been with Bitcoin, if you've been with crypto for a long time, that this is the time to buy, man. Don't panic. But this is not financial advice. And as regular watchers of CryptoWatch know, I have been burned on this one for every time I come on the show, every time it's like, oh, okay, sigurado na ako, this is the time to buy. And then the price dips. Actually, if you look in the text description, every time I stream a CryptoWatch episode, I put the price, what the price of Bitcoin was at the time I streamed the episode. And you'll notice that this is the lowest it has ever been. Since I've done the show January 2021. Anyway, the prices are down there. I can't quite see it now. I'll have to pull it up on YouTube. Pero I think this is the lowest. I think this is the lowest that Bitcoin has been ever since I've been doing CryptoWatch. But 19 seems to be a pretty good resistance mark. I haven't seen it gone down below 19 in quite a while. Actually, it was already recovering. It was around 23K the past week or so. Medyo nag-soften lang siya in the past week since then. And although 19 seems to be a reasonable, okay, lowest it's been in years, right? So I think now would be a good time to buy. Ayon, thanks. Thanks, Rocky the Programmer. So Ep12, which is this ep, it's at 19,800 now. Wait, let me. And then when I did it back a couple of months ago, it was at 43,000. Grabe, so 19.8 siya. Now is the time to buy. Legit. Well, anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I didn't want to address why there hasn't been a CryptoWatch episode in quite a while. Because to be honest, it's human nature. And joking aside, when you put money in crypto and sobrang bumagsak siya, ayaw mo na tingnan. And I know a lot of people, ganun din ako. You're super excited about crypto, but when it crashes like this, as with any investment, right? Parang you just want to get on with your life. 80% of you thinks, God damn, I was such an idiot. I should have waited. But again, it's everything. Hindsight is 100%. Masasabi mo you're an idiot now for not waiting kasi nakikita mo yung prices ngayon. But if you had bought and it had gone up and you had sold, edi you're a genius, diba? I mean, I'm saying that everything is 100% in hindsight. So it's investing is a bit, again, as I mentioned in the previous streams, it's like poker. You play the hand as best as you can and you play the odds and you think that, okay, I'll make my bet, I'll stand here, or know when to hold, know when to fold. But joking aside, although medyo nakatilt ako ngayon to keep using poker terms kasi my portfolio is definitely down from when I was very active in crypto. So medyo nakatilt ako ngayon. The temptation is there to buy at this very low price. Pero tingin ko sobrang okay tong presyo na to eh. Although there are certain factors that might point to even lower prices. But let me go through the chat first. Arlu from YouTube, pa shout out. Sup? Pet Gemini, sup? Rocky the Programmer. Scholarful has actually not commissioned us to do an ad. I don't know if the humor of the CDK ad would translate well if they, it translates well culturally. Yung CDK kasi, parang wala na silang pake sa atin in a good way. It's like they trust us enough na, okay, if you say that this ad will do well, we'll trust you and you can execute on that and kayo na bahala. So it's a good bahala na kayo kind of way, kind of relationship. So, but medyo bago pa lang tayo sa Colorful. I don't know if Colorful would want us to execute on that kind of ad. Sup, Casey Bolios? Yes, definitely still on the tilt. Moniker, sup? Casey Bolios. Actually, struggle ko to. I've been trying to get a proper holder. Ayun nga, parang banda dito and then but I can't find one. And I have, nasa likod ko ngayon, I bought one but there's no proper, dito sa desk ko, walang proper grip na makabitan. So, yun, when I do these kind of streams, I end up holding it like this, like the mic like this. Although this is an Elgato Wave 1, super useful when I do voiceover for the video. So I don't regret getting this. Also, when somebody calls on Viber, since I'm online naman all the time, when somebody calls me on Viber, I just need to turn on the mic and we're good to go. So sobrang convenient to have a mic like this. Sup? Paul Ignatius. You can, it's kind of like So this is the base is a screw, so you can remove the base, and then you can kind of screw it into a clamp. But the way my desk is set up right now, I can't find an ideal place to clamp it where I like the angle of the mic. So I'm kind of fighting the arm to get into position. I don't like it. To be honest, I do want to redo this space. So I don't know if I'll be like having like an actual interior designer come over or something to make it more streamery, and also to kind of clean up the setup. Because if you notice, I have a 42, 49-incher LG TV here. Then my three primary monitors are here. So I have four monitors now. This one is super useful, but I need to rotate my head to the side to see it. So ideally, it would be right in front of me here. So in front of my primary monitor, then on top. So there are a lot of things that I actually wanted to redo about my setup. So I'm thinking of doing that now, or parang uh like in the short term, I might redo this space. I was a long-term investor for a short time, so parang value picks. But then mga a year and a half ago, I set aside some money to do yung short-term trading talaga. So I got into short-term, and I got into shorting, which is super, super, super risky. I did make some money off shorting. I have explained it before in other CryptoWatch episodes, but it's not something you need a strong stomach for it. So let's say I would say, kasi for a long time I was a long-term investor in crypto. So lahat ng funds ko sa crypto na ini-invest ko, pang long-term talaga yon. I didn't mind the up and down fluctuations of the daily up to downs, the weekly up to downs. But then parang a year and a half ago, I decided to maybe put 20% of my portfolio in short term na maging mas active. I also had the time, Hardware Sugar was running, like I didn't need to, at that particular time, pwede ko siya i-auto. Medyo kasi yung pandemic nun, although nag-open up na yung businesses, but not as much. And then the at the start of the pandemic, grabe kasi yung demand for computer stuff. So, grabe rin yung demand sa shop. But a year and a half ago, there was still demand, but the initial rush had died down. So, Hardware Sugar was okay. So, I had a lot more time. But you can still make a lot of money now in short term if you're lucky and if you know what you're doing. It's just that I don't have the time anymore for short term. Plus, most of my funds, to be honest, have been locked in already. I bought them too high and now I can't sell them because then I would actualize my losses. I mean, I always say on this stream na, take heart. Kung bumili ka medyo mataas, ngayon bagsak na, that's just a paper loss. You don't need to sell them. I mean, I always caution don't sell the money that you put into crypto should be money that you're ready to mawala talaga yan 100%. You put in 1,000 pesos, you put in 10,000 pesos, basta same mindset, maaring mawala yun lahat. And so similarly, when it comes to selling, if you're down, don't sell now. It's just a paper loss. Why would you sell at a paper loss when chances are 6 months from now, the price will be much better? Realistically. Although again, again, as Rocky the Programmer has pointed out, yun nga, every time I stream, I put how much Bitcoin was. So if you bought at Ep9 and you're like 37,000 and you're like, well, siguro man di na siya babagsak. Congratulations, you've lost 50% of your value because now it's at around $20,000 per Bitcoin. But again, 20,000 is quite low. I don't think it will breach it. But again, what do I know? If I could predict the market 100%, then I wouldn't be streaming on YouTube. I would be on a beach somewhere enjoying my gains, right? So again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. But even just historically, 19-20K for a Bitcoin is quite low. Although, I mean, when the pandemic started, so it hit the Philippines March 2020. It's fair to say medyo the world went into lockdown around March, April 2020. If I remember correctly, Bitcoin around June 2020 was 5,600. And yun talaga, I put my money where my mouth was. I'm like, this is a great time to buy. So, lumabas ako in full PPE and whatnot to go to the banks to transfer some money para makabili ako. And I cleaned up on that. I mean, I did make some money on that. Because yun nga, even when the world seemed to be ending, life will go on. it's not a civilization killer. No matter, I mean, super serious yung COVID, especially the early days, June 2020. But right after the hard lockdowns eased, pero sobrang hirap pa rin lumabas. I really took the time and the effort and the safety precautions to go out. Kasi feeling ko talaga, 5,600, man, that's a steal for Bitcoin. And even now, like, if you had put your money in then, tas nakatulog ka for whatever reason for 2 years and you woke up, you'd still be looking at a 400% return or something, slightly less than 400% on your money. Basically quadruple up. So if you bought it at 5,000 US, now it's at around 20,000 US. That's a times 4 investment. And if you had even sold it when it was crashing, let's say around 37,000, 38,000, still you would have made a lot. So what I'm saying is the one of my favorite maxims for investing is na in regardless stocks, crypto, is that be afraid when others are greedy and be greedy when others are afraid. It's usually when everybody's running for the hills is when medyo matatag yung chan mo. You have fortitude, you have the guts to go all in. That's usually when a lot of people make money. And I think now is a good price. For real, legit. Sup, ITX addict? I have been hearing about this coin, but I haven't really looked into it. Sup, Lucky Bear Vlogs, and thank you for joining our YouTube members. Actually, about the time, sorry, it was supposed to be 6 o'clock, the initial announcement, pero family stuff happened. So, but I got back earlier than 7:30, so I decided to start na rin. So, again, that's the problem with CryptoWatch. At least, yung yung pwede magtanong and Sota are the only shows that we have a regular schedule. Although this CryptoWatch, I really did want to have a regular schedule, but that's on me. It's been kind of difficult to follow it. But yung pwede magtanong, which actually we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary of pwede magtanong this September. So this Friday is the first Friday. Pwede magtanong is always first Friday. And I'm going to actually reach out to some brands tomorrow to see if they want to throw in some nice freebies, maybe like a triple fan RGB pack or stuff. And then we'll raffle it out during Pwede Magtanong on Friday. Because to my knowledge, it is the longest running Philippine tech advice show na live, as far as I know. And we started that September 2020, medyo pandemic pa nga. And it's been a fun ride. And yeah, so far, we've done it every month. Yun talaga, sobrang routine, sobrang regular yung pwede magtanong. At least once a month yun. And this year, we've really been good about having it every first Friday. So yun, as far as I know, it is the longest running tech advice show in the Philippines. Yep. And even like other tech YouTubers, I don't know if I can't think of anyone that has a live show where people can just, type in their questions. And to be honest, yes, sometimes we do get distracted and the topics kind of meander sa pwede magtanong and it's difficult to answer everybody. Pero yeah, at least, we make the effort and we do. I'd like to think we have helped out people sa pwede magtanong. I am a bit rambling. We'll get back to the crypto right after this second ad from Colorful. If anybody knows how we can get Disney to sponsor us, I would be happy to carry their mug. Although basically, I'm already carrying the mug now, even without having to be sponsored. All right, so that's a couple of reasons why there has not been a CryptoWatch episode for quite a while. But with the new sponsor, there is a monetary incentive for me to get back on the CryptoWatch horse. So we have We basically doubled the number of live streams that we're going to be doing in the next couple of months. So CryptoWatch will be back at least for the next couple of months. I'm going to work this into the schedule. So number two, the big news for crypto is that Ethereum is finally going to merge, I think on September 14th. It's called a merge because they're going to be merging with the Beacon blockchain, or basically Beacon is a chain which is set up for proof of stake. Right now, Ethereum, like Bitcoin, is proof of work, meaning that that's mining. What everybody traditionally associates with cryptocurrencies, yung mining, or where your computer hardware at home does work for the network, and that is how you generate income. Miners generate income when they just a short introduction on how Bitcoin mining works. It's like you do work for the network, and every validated work that you do. So to put it very simply, your computer, when a computer is mining, it's doing mathematical problems, and when it finds the correct answer, it unlocks a block. The work is checked by the network, and then when one computer finds the correct answer, they're rewarded with a certain number of bitcoins. And in theory, that means only one person. I think the current reward is 50 bitcoins. Pababa yun ng pababa eh. Before it was a higher number. Is it still 50 bitcoins now? I'm not too sure. Basta the one who gets the correct answer for that block, for that sequence, gets an X number of bitcoins. I think it's around 50 now. But that's just only one computer. But in practice, it's very difficult to ensure that it's your computer that will get the reward. So there are mining pools where everybody, okay, I'm going to do work. Let's say my computer did 10 units of work. I will contribute that to the pool. And let's say 100,000 units later, somebody from the pool found the correct answer, they're rewarded with the 50 bitcoins, then that's distributed among the pool, among those guys who contributed to the work. So it's very unlikely that it was your computer mismo na nakahanap dun sa tamang sagot na nag-generate ng bagong Bitcoin. But because there are so many people mining now, the odds of you being the one finding the proper answer and getting the reward, getting the bounty, are infinitesimal. Okay, it's like sobrang liit na an individual miner, just as an individual. Obviously, somebody out there somewhere will find the correct answer, but the odds are that you will be the one are super small. That's why most people mine in a mining pool. So anyway, that's proof of work where you donate, where you do work for the network, for the blockchain, using your computer hardware here at home, or whatever miner that you have. And because that you probably put it to a mining pool, then you get a percentage of the new Bitcoin generated when somebody from that pool is able to find the correct answer and new Bitcoins are generated. That is traditionally how crypto has been run. That's how traditionally how blockchains have been run. The problem with that, number one, is that it takes up a lot of energy. So over the past a year or so, a lot of attention has been focused on how Bitcoin is very bad for the environment, specifically because it takes so much electricity to mine. Um, on one hand, Bitcoin, that's intentional. That's a bug, not a feature, because the difficulty level goes up. The more Bitcoins are generated and the more people who are mining, the harder it is to generate rewards. The more work you need to do in order to find the proper answer that will generate new Bitcoin. That's by design, because that's an anti-inflation technique. If it were easy to generate Bitcoin, then the supply would increase, and basic supply and demand. The more something there is, the less valuable it is. So that's by design, that the more people are doing work for the network, the harder it is to generate new Bitcoin. But the consequence of that is the harder it is, the more work you need to put in, the more electricity needs to be put in, the more electricity is generated to generate more of that work. So that's one thing against proof of work. So a lot of the newer cryptos, the alt currencies, are moving or are designed from the ground up to be proof of stake, where there is no work done. Basically, tinataya mo yung coin mo. And that's how it's basically, so the way it works is at least for Ethereum, you need 32 Ethereum or 38. Let me check my notes. You need 32. you need 32 ethers, which is the coin of Ethereum, 32 ETH to be to qualify as validator, meaning that you check the transactions on the network, and as a validator, you say that yes, this transaction is legit. No, this transaction is peke. So, and you're staking, you're putting your you're putting your money where your mouth is. To be a validator, tinataya mo at least 32 ETH, which can be quite expensive. It's around, I think ETH is around 1.5 now, so that is roughly around 32 plus 16 is 48. So that's around $48,000 right now to be a validator. And other validators who click to determine, let's say you want to game the system, um you want to pass off a fraudulent transaction as legitimate. And as a validator, you can do that kasi yun nga, ikaw yung nag-check. But other validators will also check your work, and it will quickly be found out that, oh, yung sinabi mong totoo, peke pala. Tapos, the network can delete or can confiscate kasi nasa kanila na eh. Tinaya mo na yung Ethereum mo, yung ETH mo, and you can basically lose all of that ETH. So in proof of stake instead of proof of work, how the transactions are processed is that tinataya mo yung Ethereum mo. You put your money on the line, you put your coin on the line, and what keeps you in line, what keeps the validators honest is the monetary consideration. Because yun nga, tinaya mo na yung Ethereum mo. If you try to pass off fraudulent transactions as legitimate, you can be penalized quite severely. Basically, yun, whatever, the entire thing na tinaya mo, pwedeng mawala yun. So that's a severe, the incentive, to be honest, is monetary. And yung maganda sa proof of stake is that it doesn't require mining. So that's why a lot of the tech YouTubers now, basically, if you're a tech YouTuber and you want views, hindi naman sa being negative about tech YouTubers, but basically, if you want views, you just talk about GPUs and you talk about prices. And then everybody will just watch your videos. Although Hardware Sugar has not done that. We've kind of shied away from that content, to be honest. Kasi I find it kind of a bit boring, to be honest. You talk about GPU prices and they're like, oh, sobrang mahal, and blame miners. Oh, sobrang mahal, blame China. Oh, sobrang mahal, blame manufacturers for not anticipating demand. But it's kind of passing the buck. I mean, you don't have skin in the typical tech YouTuber doesn't have skin in the game. But Hardware Sugar is a shop, so we kind of appreciate just how difficult it is on the supplier side, on the dealer side, on the manufacturer side, just to anticipate. Nobody could have anticipated the pandemic. Nobody could have anticipated the logistical backlogs that would have resulted in that. And as a miner myself, miners get a bad rap for sobrang naging in demand yung GPU so that they could mine. So of course, GPU prices shot through the roof. It was like a perfect storm of demand for GPUs for miners versus decreased supply because of the pandemic. So the general public blamed everybody. And tech YouTubers just jumped on the bandwagon and blamed everybody also. But I don't, just in general, that the kind of content I find kind of boring kasi after you blame everybody, they're just gonna end with well, wala tayong magawa, ganun talaga ang buhay. Which I didn't find really very useful. I mean, you're gonna do a video complaining about stuff na mahal ng GPU, scalpers should be shot, crypto miners should be shot, Nvidia should be shot. But at the end of the day, parang yun nga, wala kang magawa. And I felt like if we couldn't do something with practical, useful advice, then why do that kind of video? So we haven't done that kind of video. Although we are going to be doing a video very soon, not about GPU prices, but about GPUs in general. So I've been researching a lot about like ano bang magandang GPUs na medyo budget pa din. And then just Jay's 2 cents recently got in trouble because he's had a video last month saying na prices are down. I think you should buy now. Then everybody jumped on him na how can you say that because prices are still dropping. So it's kind of like a hot potato, this topic. It's very emotional for a lot of people. But from the Hardware Sugar side, I've been a miner. I own Hardware Sugar, a PC shop. So I do appreciate the different sides maybe a bit more than a typical tech YouTuber does. And I don't it's easy to be negative and blame a lot of people, the scalpers, the brands, etc. And that maybe there was price gouging going on, and that's not cool. But I don't feel bad because Hardware Sugar never engaged in that. We were very strict about following our standard markups, and mahal din talaga kahit galing sa dealer side. So basically, my conscience is clear, but we stayed clear of doing those kind of videos. But back to proof of stake versus proof of work and back to the merge. So when they finally announced, matagal na yun in-announce na Ethereum started out as proof of work. Ethereum is important because it's the primary altcoin. Bitcoin is like the granddaddy of cryptocurrencies, but it's useless. I mean, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that from a pragmatic, practical perspective, nobody uses Bitcoin for commerce. It's slow AF, man. If you want to use Bitcoin as a means of transaction, like parang Gcash type, parang Alipay type, parang, I just go into a store and I want to pay with Bitcoin and I just want to wave my phone or I want to just tap my pin tas mapapadala yan. The Bitcoin network is very slow compared to traditional mechanisms like credit cards. It's again, as a shop, it sucks. It's like 3.5%, or when somebody uses a card in the shop, 1,000 pesos, 3.5% of that. So the 35 pesos of that goes to the card network. And as a shop owner, I feel that. But I don't pass it on to the consumers. The credit card payment is the same as the cash price. But masakit. I mean, just off the top of your head, 3.5%. And so as a consumer, you're thinking, well, what's 35 pesos out of 1,000? Pero wala pa doon yung VAT. If you add in VAT, 12% goes to the government, 3.5% goes to the card network. That's already 15.5% gone. That doesn't go to the retailer. That doesn't go to Hardware Sugar. So just how much of a markup do we need so that we can pay our staff, so that we can buy new stuff, so that we can pay for rent, so that we can pay for logistics, like the gas to pay to send, that we use to deliver and things like that. So it's really a big headache. Those percentages pile up fast. But my point is that yes, traditional card networks are annoying, but to be fair to them, one thing they do really well is the number of transactions that they can do. Imagine it. Hindi ko naisip before I went into retail na, yeah, you really have to appreciate na, imagine you go to Landmark, you go to the supermarkets, you go to Hardware Sugar, you go to Gilmore, kahit saan may credit card, and the millions of transactions that are being done every second through the card networks are amazing. And that's what they do really well, is that the number of transactions that the networks can handle. And Bitcoin is terrible at that. I don't remember just how many number of transactions. Is it 100,000 per? Not quite sure what's going on there in my background. I think my daughter. Another reason why we haven't done CryptoWatch in a very long time is that we recently had a new addition to the family. So I have a 2-year-old daughter now and a 2-month-old son. So we have a new baby boy. But it's been very difficult for me on a personal level to juggle my kids and everything that's happening in the shop. So I think you can see my daughter having a hissy fit in the background. She threw something through the doggy door, and I can kind of hear her still kind of yelling. Sorry, Seiji. I'll get to you soon. I'll get to you soon. Yun, but that's something that the traditional networks do really well. Your number of transactions per second, per minute, or something. And one of the big advancements that the Ethereum network merging with Beacon will do is that they say that they can do lots more transactions, which will make Ethereum much more useful from a usability standpoint. Wait, I do have that in my notes. Let me check. Just how many times? Wait, I did have another reason why it's hard for me to do CryptoWatch is that I don't want to be talking about my ass. So I really do a lot of research beforehand, like on the topics that I choose. Sorry, I thought I had the note where how many more transactions Ethereum can do after the merge. Yes, after the merge, they should be able to do 100,000 per second, which is still slow compared to traditional networks. Sorry, I gave that number out as the number of transactions that Bitcoin can do, but that's incorrect. So that's even after the merge. um, Oh, actually, Ethereum can only support now 30 transactions per second. But after the merge, after they ramp up and after they validate that everything's working, they should be able to do 100,000. So that's a quantum leap in terms of number of people, number of transactions that Ethereum network can do. Because yun nga, for those of us who do want to see crypto become useful in the sense that it's really like money that you can go in and then you can use it as payment, it's very important to ramp up the number of transactions that you can do. So right now, apparently it's only 30 per second, which is I mean, it seems fast, right? You think 30 per second, that's a lot. But you know, compared to the Visas and MasterCards of the network, that is minuscule. They're like our turtle compared to the light speed, analogy of the number of transactions that the Visas and MasterCards, the Amexes can do. So apparently it'll be 100,000 after everything works out with the merge. So that's why the merge for Ethereum is super important. They've been saying that they're gonna do it for a long time, but they're taking their time. Actually, Beacon has been up since December 2021, I think. But they're taking their time to make sure that the merge is useful. Although Ethereum actually, but Ethereum started out as proof of work because Ethereum was the first alt currency to challenge or to look at crypto and think that what Bitcoin did was interesting, but Bitcoin is basically useless. Let's put in features that people can actually use, like smart contracts, like being the ability to handle more transactions more quickly. But Ethereum hasn't been without its growing pains. There's a big fork early on in its history. So naging Ethereum and then Ethereum Classic and then now Ethereum 2.0 after the merge. So and that's the interesting thing about Ethereum is that it evolves. Proof of work before, and then now it's evolving to proof of stake. And one of the benefits of proof of stake is that you can do a lot of transactions more quickly, and you need a lot less energy. They're saying that kasi wala nang mining, basically the power consumption of the Ethereum network will drop 99%, which is astounding. I mean, that's really a quantum leap in terms of energy efficiency. Kasi wala na nga mining. The news has been positive. So Ethereum, before the announcement that yes, matutuloy na talaga siya September 14, was around 1,000 US or slightly below 1,000. It peaked at around 1,600, I think, but now it's around 1,450. Sorry, it peaked at around 1,681, so almost 1,7, but now it slipped to around 1,500 or so. But definitely, and again, it's crypto winter. But imagine if you had bought Ethereum at around 1,000, it peaked at around 1,700. That's more than a 50% return right there in a supposed crypto winter. So it's definitely still possible to make money even in a crypto winter, even though winter has come. But you really need to follow the markets. You really need to follow the news, which I haven't been able to do honestly because personal reasons as well as professional reasons, the shop and things like that. Let me just go through the chat. Sorry, medyo na pressure ako with my daughter. As my I don't like, if I'm around naman, I try to spend as much time with her as possible. So medyo na got derailed a little bit. Which is also why it's hard for me to do these streams. It's hard for me to set aside the time. Casey Bolios, actually, they were bought out by Corsair a long time ago. I mean, it's not a new thing. Corsair bought out Elgato. I can't remember when, pero matagal na. But they do keep it separate. They keep the brand separate. It hasn't really affected their quality, I don't think. I think Elgato is still pretty good. I really quite enjoy. I really like this Wave 1. I know Linus uses their key lights, which we still do have one stock in the shop. And one of these days, I'm tempted just to steal them. Although this setup now is just with my lights. I think the lighting looks pretty good. Pangit lang kasi yung background, but I think the lighting, like at least in the foreground, like my face and everything. And there's a nice, and I'm using the ZV-A10, so it's much sharper. And here on the screen, it's the light is a bit better because I got the Xiaomi monitor light, which is also quite good, which I mentioned in the stream where I talked about na scam ba ako sa Lazada. IDX Addict is also a true believer in crypto like myself. I think IDX Addict and myself, whenever like we chat, it's always like, yeah, now's a good time to buy. I would know. I'm not worried about it. Although even he says that there might be more dramatic dips. You think so? Because I missed out kasi I wasn't able to buy it at 1,000. So now I'm kind of like I'm having regret about sitting it out. Although to be honest, I'm tapped out. Like I have no more money to invest because I invested it earlier when I thought that definitely this is the floor na. Di na siya bababa. And also a lot of my spare cash either goes to my kids or the shop because the shop just burns money. If you think investing in crypto is burning money, you should put up and you like burning money, just set up a computer shop. That'll burn money much faster than investing in crypto. And your chances of getting a return are also much less. God damn, man. PC shop. But IDX Addict really is a true believer. He also often points out that it's become institutional. So a lot of institutional investors have become quite interested in crypto, and it's not uncommon to have um, funds. Yeah, funds set up by big banks, big mutual funds, big UITFs, unit investment trust funds that deal in crypto. Um, and if you want to dip your toes in, that's pretty good. But yun nga, if you're feeling a bit aggressive, I do medyo masaya din siya. Kahit bagsak siya. That's the thing. It's like a roller coaster, really. The feelings that you have dealing with crypto. It's like, way, like it's a down, whoa, sobrang taas, and benta mo na bago bumagsak. It is quite interesting. It is quite interesting. Uh, it is quite interesting, the roller coaster of cryptos. Sup, Pesto from YouTube, another frequent watcher of our channel. Yun, so basically after the merge, they're calling it S2.0. As I mentioned, there is a merge coming up, and then I wouldn't say it's a brand new currency, pero like I've been staking Ethereum now. And then the disclaimer is that if you stake your money now, you're only gonna get it back after the merge, after Ethereum 2.0. But it's such a big thing that they're calling it Ethereum 2.0, the merge with the Beacon blockchain. I discussed a bit earlier on why it's a big deal. Let me just run a third ad before I forget. So that's the Cyberpunk motherboard ad of colorful. And actually, I think we did use that board in the upcoming build video releasing this Friday. So just two topics I wanted to touch on a bit more before we leave the topic of the merge and Ethereum 2.0 is that proof of stake proof of stake is a newer kind of, usually it's proof of work versus proof of stake, but actually there are other cryptos do use different validating mechanisms. So there's proof of authority, proof of space, proof of elapsed time, and proof of burn. So I do try to do research in particular for CryptoWatch, and I was actually kind of fascinated when I came across this information. Although definitely the majority of crypto projects use either proof of work, and that's currently at 58%. So 58% of all crypto use proof of work as the means of validating transactions, proof of stake is a distant second at 12%. Um, and then the rest are 30%, yun nga, scattered across the different kinds of ano. Um, Proof of stake is mabango, because it's newer, it's environment friendly because it uses a lot less energy. Although there are benefits to proof of work. Number one being it is time tested. I mean, Bitcoin has never had an attack, a successful attack where people, because basically, um, what people fear about cryptocurrencies is that basically botohan yun eh. If enough people check a transaction as valid, even though it's not valid, then they can rewrite the transactions on the network and they can produce their own. It's not really produce, but the what a common 51% attack would do would be to say that money was sent out even though it wasn't. So kunwari I paid for something pero hindi ko pa talaga nabayaran pero mapapadala na yung item sa akin because the network will say na napadala ko na. So it's like I have my cake because I got the item I paid for, plus I have my cake and I get to eat it too because I get to keep the funds. Um, but I can't. Bitcoin, to my knowledge, has never had a successful 51% attack. And that's a testament to Satoshi, whoever he was, who came up with the original rules for Bitcoin. Sobrang successful niya from a safeguarding the network point of view, which is what happened to Axie Infinity a couple of months ago. There was a big drop because basically somebody, actually it's kind of sloppy on the part of the Axie developers. There were only a specific number of validators, and basically na 51% attack siya. They were able to spoof or take over the at least 51% of the validators, so they were able to transfer funds on the down low without the network noticing na, oy, oy, teka, parang hindi to legit. Because the network was saying it was legit because yun nga na-compromise pala yung 51%. So it's sort of like in an election, it's like dagdag bawas, a concept that, not really dagdag bawas, but it's a concept na there's an election and then it's rigged. Hindi talaga tama yung results ng election. That's basically what happens in a 51% attack where actually, I guess a better analogy would be like in the States, for the presidential election, it's not a true democracy. Wait, sige, wait. I don't know if this will make it clearer for people, but there's a board, there's an electoral college in the States, and they're the ones actually who elect the president. But they're supposed to go by the democratic vote in each state. So a 51% attack would be like the electoral college saying that yes, this is the president, even though the results were fraudulent. Um, but yun nga, Bitcoin has never succumbed to a successful 51% attack as far as I know, as far as my knowledge. And that's one thing going for proof of work. You're assured, at least for Bitcoin, na there's that history na nobody has been successful. Also because it would take so much computational power. There's so many miners out there now to round up 51% and to get them to agree on something is a mind-boggling exercise in the amount of computational power you would need, especially for Bitcoin, because yun nga, sobrang hirap na to do work for the network. And that's one thing that proof of work has. On scale, sobrang hirap to execute a successful 51% attack. So there are benefits still to using proof of work. I mean, it's not like it's cut and dry that proof of stake is the future and we shouldn't everything that's proof of work is obsolete and mamamatay yung crypto that uses that. Yes, there is the Hardware Sugar mascot in the background. There goes Logan, the husky. So proof of stake versus proof of work. I just wanted to point out that it's not cut and dry that, oh yes, proof of stake is better than proof of work. Each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. And lastly, before I left this topic, actually, this is also why I don't like doing CryptoWatch, because I can just ramble on and I forget like uh what I should be doing, or like that, I do digress quite a lot because it's such a comprehensive topic. You can just go on and on about crypto. Um, yes, proof of stake relies on staking. Basically yung nga tinataya mo yung currency mo and you get something in return. Basically, it's interest rates. The way I explain proof of stake to my friends is that it's like a bank account. You give the money your bank. Usually, you can withdraw the money anytime, and while the money is with the bank, you earn interest, and that's basically what staking is. Although some cryptos you need to, like Ethereum 2.0, there is a holding period. You can't withdraw it right away. But a lot of the other altcoins that use proof of stake um, will allow you to withdraw at any time. I've always recommended having some altcoins that allow you to stake because yun nga, even if they're sitting there, they generate income for you. Again, it's just like a bank account where you earn interest. So the principal is assured. You can withdraw it anytime as long as you're staking with a reputable exchange. I use Kraken. Um, and you're earning interest in that coin as well. So let's say you have Solana and you stake Solana, you earn interest in Solana. Um, that's one nice side effect of all of this proof of staking na sumisikat yung proof of staking. It allows that mechanism where, yes, I own this crypto, I will share it with you so we can become validators together and I will earn interest from that. That's basically staking. And that's another nice benefit of proof of stake. Ha! Kaiser. Yeah, the cat has been running around. Although he's not here right now. Sometimes he's on my desk, but he is he is he is there. He's still there. ITX addict. That's right on point. Proof of stake puts the power in the hands of a few. Especially in a network, that's the thing. It's vulnerable to capitalists who can buy up a lot of the coin. Although with Ethereum, the counter argument is that you would still need to buy basically 51% of the total number of Ethereums out there, which at current estimates is around 25 billion. I don't know what the market cap is for Ethereum now. Actually, I can look that up. Can I? Oh, sorry. So market cap is around 178 billion for Ethereum. So if you needed 51% of that, it's like 80 something billion dollars, 78 billion dollars. So for big altcoins, I mean, like Ethereum, it would be prohibitive to buy up enough so you could execute a 51% attack successfully. But that is another legitimate concern for proof of stake is that you can just keep buying up coins instead of proof of work kasi. Like if you're a miner and the ethos of mining is like independent and things like that, it'll be very difficult to summon up the computational hardware to do a 51% attack on a large network like Bitcoin. All right. So proof of stake is not clear cut na yes, it's 100% better than proof of work. There are ups and downs to both types of validating work. But one nice thing I like about it is the proliferation of coins that allow you to stake now. And I'm a big fan of staking, of investing in currencies, crypto that allows staking. All right, next topic is state of NFTs. A lot of people, so NFTs became big, let's say last year, early this year. A lot of people asked me, did I get into NFTs? I did not because I don't know anything about them. I don't know what NFT would be good, what NFT would be bad. At least yan yung comfort level ko. Yung crypto, I am comfortable. Like I might lose paper losses. Like I might throw money at. I just don't invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I invest in a lot of altcoins, but I am comfortable with them because I'm comfortable with the market. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm comfortable with the losses that I might incur. But in NFTs, I don't have that level of comfort kasi yun nga, hindi ako I didn't pay attention to them nung hindi pa sila sikat. That's a warning sign for me. Like, if I only hear about it kung sikat na sila, I kind of missed the ball and I'm not comfortable investing in something like that. Yung crypto kasi, Bitcoin was like $10. $10 a Bitcoin. I had already been hearing about it. Again, not to say na wow or something. It's just a fact that, I'm interested in a lot of things. A lot of them are nerdy. And what's nerdier than doing like contributing your computing hardware to something and you get digital currency? I mean, like, yeah, that's even when it was like $10. Like when I got interested in Bitcoin, you could still do CPU mining, and then became GPU mining. Then now it's ASIC mining. Now you can't even use your GPU for Bitcoin mining. But my point is that very early on sa crypto, naririnig ko na siya. And then I started GPU mining, and then I started trading, and I started whatever. So medyo I've years that I've been interested in the crypto space. But yung NFTs, medyo mainit na sila when I heard about them. And that's a warning sign for me. If I'm only getting in on the bandwagon, like everybody's like NFTs, medyo I'm not comfortable and I won't put my money in. So I've never invested in a single NFT. Um, that's not to say you can't make money off them, but there was a big crash and I didn't feel bad about that personally, because I had no skin in the game. I recognized that this is something I don't know much about. Yun talaga sugal yun. It's not a good bet for me. For me, it's like poker. Why would let's say it's like poker and you're still learning and you're like, oh, is this a good bet? And you don't know, you have no knowledge to assess whether this is a good bet or not. That's not a good play for me. So I didn't get into the NFT space. Again, if it's just a poker analogy, that's like a hand I would fold. Because I don't know enough to think if this is a good bet for my money. Um, so I never got into NFTs when they were going up, when they were at their peak, when they dropped. But it has dropped quite significantly now. I don't know if you can still make money off them. I know of one Japanese artist, parang at the height of the NFT craze, parang his work was like worth $2 million or one NFT. So that's crazy, right? And as an artist, good for you guys. I mean, if you were able to monetize on your art, it's not to say that all NFTs have no value, but the market became supernova hot, and a lot of that, when the hype died down, a lot of that just evaporated. And so the Japanese, the Japanese are so polite. Like the artist apologized na sorry. Even though it wasn't his fault, diba? I mean, market forces, wala naman siyang kinalaman dun. But he apologized na sobrang bumagsak yung value of his works. But he had already sold them. So he was being a nice guy, basically. I mean, he didn't need to do that. But the board apes of the world and all of that. I didn't really follow that scene. So I think crypto is still a better bet for long-term investment than NFTs. Yung crypto kasi we've been through many crypto winters, guys. I mean, if you're just you're just starting to learn about crypto now and you look at the prices, pucha, all-time high ng Bitcoin, $68,000 something, 66,000 per Bitcoin. Tas ngayon, 20,000. Sinong sira ulo? I mean, diba, sobrang bagsak. You look at the prices during the pandemic, 5,600 US per Bitcoin. But there have been so many crypto winters. Winters come and winters go. Seasonal lang talaga to. And this is not me, Anton, the crypto the stars in your eyes crypto investor talking. This is just me who's lived through it, who's just lived through so many crypto winters, and it's always a cycle. And again, I've PM'd this. I've chatted about this with ITX Addict. Na when it's hot, and everybody comes out of the woodwork. Your people who aren't interested in the crypto space, your friends of friends, some random acquaintances. When they hear that you're into crypto, they ask you what's good. They ask you how to get started. Ganun talaga when the market is hot, and then suddenly when it's the winter and nobody wants to talk about crypto, and people who put money in it like me are super sad because we're sad boys, because we're idiots and we bought nung mataas pa yung market. But legit, yung maganda sa crypto is that yes, it drops like a rock, but it will also go up in time. So you just ride the roller coaster, If you had sold, like thought ka, you had bought at 60K, you had sold at 40K, and you're waiting to come in, now's the perfect time, about 20K. And even now, like the floor was around 19,000 and it climbed up to 23. If you had bought at 20, sold at 23. That's more than a 10% investment. And we're just talking about Bitcoin. Mas grabe pa yung ride sa altcoins. So my point is that NFTs, I have no idea if it will bounce back from the current winter that it's in. But crypto for sure. I don't know how long, but I'm pretty sure, and I will put my money actually now. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna buy some Bitcoin. But NFTs, I have no idea, and it's like if crypto is in a crypto winter, it's like NFTs are like in this stone age where like everything got bombed out. It's like if you've read just a short aside, if you read the Canticle for Leibowitz, which is a very old sci-fi novel, but it's a beautiful sci-fi novel. For those of you who don't know, I was a literature major, although this was not in any of my classes, but I'm a geek at heart. I love sci-fi. Canticle for Leibowitz is a beautiful, beautiful book. Basically, when how we claw ourselves back from the we bombed ourselves into the Stone Age and how we claw ourselves back. And that's how NFTs look like now. Sorry, I just can't help myself. But if you're interested in that kind of apocalyptic literature where humans are stupid, we are inherently destructive, and we inherently hate each other, and we're so foolish that we create such beautiful things, but we also bomb ourselves and kill ourselves and rape civilization, and just the nasty side of our being human. Canticle for Leibowitz is a great read. If you're into TV series, Babylon 5 had a great it's the season ender of episode of season 4. And then there's a side plot there on that kind of theme. Sobrang ganda. And also if you're into books, I just read with the same theme, kind of like humans being idiots and how we claw ourselves back from oblivion, from how we try to claim back civilization after bombing ourselves into the Stone Age. Another great novel is I just read it just this past month. It's let me pull up my Notion. Sorry, let me pull it off camera. Again, I don't know why CryptoWatch has this thing na I guess we talk about so many things. I just end up digressing so much, but this is a beautiful novel. Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Ganda, sobrang ganda. Children of Time. So I mean, yeah, I've read. I'm into sci-fi, so I read a lot of stuff in general, but a special place is reserved in my heart for science fiction books. But I haven't read a good author in a while. But itong Children of Time, sobrang ganda. You should, if you're interested, if you're into sci-fi, I suggest checking it out. But yun, tama na digression. But yun, crypto winter, but not as bad as the winter that we find ourselves in right now for NFTs. And I won't dwell more on the topic. But suffice to say, yun nga, I never invested because I don't have the confidence in myself to know what's good or not. Um, and I don't know if NFTs can come back from this. Not to like say I told you so, because yun nga, parang you could have made money pa naman eh. It's not an I told you so because I had no skin in the game talaga. It was just my opinion that me personally, wala akong lang sa NFTs. I don't have the time to follow the market and to learn about the market. So this is not an I told you so. It's more like I don't know. I honestly don't know if NFTs can come back, can regain a sliver of the values that they had at at the height of their popularity. All right, sorry. I can imagine my daughter losing it there, and I'm trying to save myself from her emotional distress. But I just did want to talk about last topic is Luna and the meltdown. Although, kasi what Luna was supposedly a stable coin, and I just want to talk about it briefly. Na ang hirap kasi for crypto as a means of exchange, like I want to buy something with crypto, is that yun nga, roller coaster yung market. So it's really hard to pin like, oh, I have a GPU 3080. I'll sell it to you for 0.2 ETH, for example. Pero sobrang akyat bagsak yung market. You don't know, should it be 0.35 ETH, 0.4 ETH, 0.1 ETH? And that's no good from a transactional point of view. If you're a merchant trying to use crypto as a means of exchange, altcoins were supposed to solve that problem because stable coins were supposed to solve that problem because they were stable. They were pegged to the value of the US dollar. But one of the more famous stable coins, Luna Coin by Terra, flamed out because basically there was a run. Sup, Ren? I agree with Kaiser that humans are always stupid. Yes, and Luna was good for a while. Hit $60, I think, and then the issue was too much Luna was generated. I think kasi nagka-run the algorithm, the whole concept behind stablecoins was that nakapeg na sila, and then once the peg was reached they would sell automatically, so it was like a hard peg. Kumbaga, it's like the how the central banks do it now. Before there was a hard peg. Let's say the Philippine peso, ipeg natin yan sa 27 pesos to a US dollar. To peg the market rate, it was the central bank would buy dollars using pesos, to maintain that peg. In the same way, the stable coins, they would sell the stable coin, um, to maintain that peg. But the problem was, if market forces force too much of that, then yun, wala na. Kumbaga, um, you can't, if there was a market run, you can't just keep printing the stable coin, which is yun nga, as Kaiser pointed out, too much Luna was generated. I think it's all a bit mathematical for me, to be honest. Um, Kulit is so Rocky the programmer. Um, it's kind of interesting. They tried to do it. Yun nga, suppose it was algorithmic na we will defend the peg. But ultimately, it just came down to selling or generating more of the stable coin. And when a market run hit, you just can't keep selling that. You just keep digging yourself a hole, basically, if you keep selling the market, if you keep producing more of that coin. So it's interesting lang from I didn't get into Luna, but it's interesting lang from the promise was there sana na yes, this will be stable, and that stability is good for a lot of things. But ultimately, the foundation of that stability was not very stable at all. The algorithm was not secure. Hindi nila na game to a sufficient extent na what if this happens? What if the nightmare scenario happens? And it did happen, and the value of that thing plummeted like a rock. So it's interesting to me, where will stable coins go from here, especially the algorithm, supposedly those protected by algorithms na naka smart contract na this is how we will defend the peg. Yeah, it's the issue of USD peg cryptocurrencies. It's very useful, but how do you defend the peg was the problem. All right, let's play the final ad. We do sell that ad. We do sell that ad. We do sell that RAM in the shop. It's pretty good. And right now it's at a discounted price. So a very good value for money, good performing RAM. I'm not saying that just because they're our sponsor. We actually carried that RAM even before Colorful started sponsoring us. I just wanted to round out the stream by mentioning some statistics. Staking yields are still good. So if you want to dip your toes into crypto, but don't want to go all out with buying and trading like on a daily, weekly basis, staking yields have remained steady. So let's say may isang coin that promises 6% return on their stake that has not gone down. Usually it's still 6%. So staking is a very good alternative means of investing in crypto, especially in a crypto winter where maybe you want to watch prices firm up a little bit if that's your comfort level as an investor. Staking yields have not gone down. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin is still in the crypto. Whenever a crypto winter comes, people always wonder if altcoins will take up the slack. Like babagsak si Bitcoin, but altcoins can retain some of their value. But that has never happened, and that hasn't happened in this winter. Bitcoin dominance is still up. I mean, Bitcoin still makes up the majority of the crypto market. It's actually increased during this winter. So altcoins, if you're looking for a hedge in crypto trading, there is no good hedge. I mean, a hedge, an alternative to Bitcoin. Um, Ethereum would be, the top of mind one, but in general, altcoins cannot hold their own in a crypto winter. They also drop along with Bitcoin. Ethereum's dominance has actually dropped. I'm just mentioning some statistics na I wanted to mention that I picked up. Uh, that I picked up for the stream. Yun nga, Bitcoin's dominance or Bitcoin's market share has actually increased during this crypto winter. Um, Volume of transactions. Volume is important just as a measure of just how many people are using this currency. But the more people who use it, the more popular it is. So it's a stand-in for popularity. And the more popular it is, siguro the more valuable it is. But volume has dropped. The worst performing for volume, not value, but for volume is Algo. It's dropped 88% kasi medyo internally nagkakaguluhan, medyo magulo sa management structure ni Algo, and that's been reflected in the number of people who think that it's a good idea to be using that cryptocurrency. So Algo, yeah, has dropped 88% in terms of volume year to date. So if you're looking for a sure thing or a currency on the rise, Algo might not be for you. ADA is up. ADA activity is up 268% year to date. ADA, there are altcoins na medyo, so altcoins na medyo blue chip, Ethereum, and then maybe the A++ rated. So Ethereum would be A triple rated. But yung medyo sikat na altcoins other than Ethereum would be ADA, Algo to a certain extent before, Solana. I personally like OMG, although I lost a lot of money on it. OMG. Pero ang ganda ng OMG dati. Oh, I do like Tezos, XTZ. That's also one of my go-to altcoins. But ADA, in terms of volume, has been doing well for this year. Dogecoin has dropped negative 84% year to date. Ethereum actually also dropped negative 68% year to date. This is around end of July, these statistics. Yeah. So actually, I do want to, when I do crypto now, I do want to, when I do CryptoWatch now, I do want to share more statistics like that. So I'll it's more like a bit market news as well, just not more this rambling thing. So we will be having more statistics like that. Just statistics that I find in my research that I think I found interesting that I would pass on to the audience. Ayun. So ITX Addict, there will be no new ETH. ETH is the new ETH. And Vitalik, who is sort of the one who came up with ETH, was very clear on that. Ito si ITX Addict, he's a ITX Addict is a a lot of traditional investors are very anti-crypto, and so they're very gung-ho about fiat. But ITX Addict is the opposite. He's very anti-fiat, and he's very gung-ho on crypto, which I have sympathies for that position. Although, bottom line, I'm not really an evangelist in the sense that crypto is the future, or one kind of thing is the future. I'm more like, can I make money investing in this? So more like a practical kind of guy. Although the geek in me, especially in the early days of crypto, was like, God damn, this is amazing. And just the concepts na there is no central bank. It can't be tracked by any government, although that's not really true now. There have been a lot of ways documented, especially in particular how to track Bitcoin. Although it's not a failing of the network, it's more a failing of like people not following proper hygienic ways of transferring. Although Bitcoin is not as anonymous as some people, as the layman thinks it is. In fact, cryptocurrencies have been developed precisely to address those concerns. Like Monero is harder to track than Bitcoin. But yeah, it's a really interesting space, both in terms of an investor and as a geek. So that appeals to me. But yun, thanks so much for watching. I really could go on longer, but I should see to dinner and see to my dinner. But thank you for joining me this long weekend or the cap to the long weekend. But definitely you're going to be seeing more of CryptoWatch in the months ahead. I'm also trying to get back on the scene as an investor. Um, try to get my dip my feet back into it and follow the prices more and things like that. And we'll leave on the note that ITX Addict brought up na, yeah, the nice thing about crypto is that it's transferable. So, I mean, the means of transferring is not controlled by any government. So, if, the banks are freezed out, not that, I mean, there is international support for Ukraine, but, you know, in a situation like that where you want to, it's a lot easier to transfer crypto than fiat to causes like the Ukraine, then yeah, that's one very clear benefit of having a robust cryptocurrency ecosystem. And the old guard is really anti-crypto, but I think a lot of that is they don't understand it. They rightly say that sometimes it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a pyramiding scheme. Depends on the crypto. Yun nga, you need to do your own research. You need to see what coins are legit. But Bitcoin definitely won't be disappearing anytime soon. Ethereum, Solana's a lot going for it. Um, I like Tezos, but Tezos is more as an investment. OMG also as an investment. Enzyme also as an investment. Gabe, if I mentioned like the altcoins, like I mentioned that I've put money in that I've been burned on, we'd be here the whole day. But thank you for watching, and we do have a video dropping Wednesday. Wednesday. Let me just plug the video. It'll be up for members tomorrow, so YouTube members do see all of our videos earlier than the general public. It's the tech. It's the tech troubleshooter shootout. So our three techs in the shop, Gerald, Jay, and Ken, we had three computers, identical computers. We really mocked them up. So we had three identical computers with the exact same issues. Tapos challenge sila to our text. Challenge siya to our text. Which tech would solve with the majority, which tech could solve the most number of problems in that computer um, in a specific amount of time. So may pagka Iron Chef yung dating. And yeah, that's a super interesting video. I actually have not watched it, so I don't know who won. I specifically did not ask them. I told them not to spoil it for me. But most issues in an hour. Rocky the Programmer was our host for that particular video. So it's dropping Wednesday. Friday is the build video of Colorful and also the Pwede Magtanong, our 2-year anniversary, the longest running live tech advice show that I know of on YouTube. Yun. See you guys. Bye.